Hello, everybody. We're back. It's another call-in show. We got a lot of good topics here to discuss right off the rip. Let me throw up the number as I introduce myself. My name is Ronnie. If you already knew that, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. That's right. We have a phone number for this channel scrolling along the bottom of this video. 725-253-0264. If you want to ever leave a voicemail question for me about the Raiders or about anything else you want to talk about, there will be a chance that I could answer that live on the usually Tuesday show. This week was a little crazy and chaotic, so I have to do it Thursday, today at the time of recording. If you want the chance to call in live, like all my patrons have right now for the next half hour-ish, any of them can call in live and talk to me live on air. You have to join the Patreon. Link is in the description below. Besides, being able to call in live, you get your name at the end of the credits, you get exclusive content, you get ad-free content, you get all that good stuff, videos days in advance. So if you want to sign up, link is in the description below, or go to patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. We've got a lot to discuss here. We've got some very good voicemails, and by the way, there's going to be some voicemails that I did not get to that people have left to me just because I have a lot. So I'm going to save some of those for next week. The more voicemails I get, the better this all is. So I'm very excited that I actually have too many voicemails to go through at the moment. I'm just making sure that I have all the voicemails set up here. Before we get into the voicemails, though, I want to warm up here with a little BR Bleacher Report article because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they're talking about the new coaches and their chances of winning a certain amount of games. And they talk about the Las Vegas Raiders and what they expect their record to be. So if we transition here to what BR says, this is by Brent on Bleacher Report, ranking NFL head coaches, new NFL head coaches, based on possibility of success in year one. So it starts out with the least successful people that they think are going to have kind of a tougher time. They go Kellen Moore, 13-4. Aaron Glenn, 6-11. I'm always stressed that out. I'm not recording. Okay, I am recording. Liam Cohen, 8-9. Mike Vrabel, 8-9. Benjamin Johnson, 9-8. Pete Carroll of the Las Vegas Raiders, 10-7. And let's see what Brent has to say. Pete Carroll wasn't hired as the oldest head coach in NFL history for the Las Vegas Raiders to rebuild. Just win, baby, and now. During an offseason with questionable moves to be made at quarterback, the Raiders completed the most practical transaction by trading for 34-year-old Geno Smith. The 12-year veteran can provide stability to the Raiders organization that has lacked it for multiple years. Obviously, the quarterback familiarity with Carroll after 5 years together in Seattle with the Seahawks should ease his transition to a new team since he already understands the coach's culture and what he plans to achieve. Smith experienced a career renaissance during that stretch. He made the Pro Bowl in 2 of the last 3 seasons. Granted, Smith is who he is, and he's not an elite quarterback with the skill set of a Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert, who happen to play in the same division. However, Chip Kelly's hire as an offensive coordinator, coupled with Carroll's preferred style of play, indicates a more physical brand of football in the Sin City. The selection of Raiders running back Ashton Jeanty with this year's 6th overall pick automatically places him in the spotlight as the team's offensive focal point. The Raiders may lack some explosive qualities. We'll see. Don't sleep on Trey Tucker or Dante Thornton, and proven capabilities among their wide receivers, no doubt. Proven is the key word there. But tight end Brock Bowers can make up for some of them with his dynamic talent. Defensively, the Raiders are already feisty with a talented front led by Max Crosby. Patrick Graham remains in place as their play caller. Las Vegas isn't ready to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won 9 straight division titles, but it's not difficult to imagine a world where Carroll's approach allows the Raiders to more than double last year's win total of 14 wins. Record prediction 10-7. And then they have Brian Schottenheimer at number 1, interestingly enough. Okay, so let's discuss that a little before I get into the voicemails here. And maybe one of these few patrons can call in. And by the way, hit that like button and subscribe if you know. It does help tremendously. You guys saw my initial record prediction. Now I'm going to do a different one after the preseason, right before the season starts. Probably right before the 3rd preseason game, which is typically the one that they bench everybody. It used to be that the 3rd one was the one where everybody starts, but now there's only 3, and I'm sure at some point there'll only be 2. The 2nd preseason game is the most important, and Geno Smith is probably going to play in that along with all of our starters because Chip Kelly said we treat every game like a championship game. So I think you're going to see starters in the preseason. Knock on wood, cross everything that you have that there's no injuries. My initial record prediction was 9-8, and I've broken it down like this. I've split the division games 3-3, right? I think that's totally feasible. We play the AFC South, which is not a great division. I say we go 3-1 in that division. So 3-6, so we're 6-1. We play the NFC East, which is a tougher division. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a phone call. The first ever phone call. Oh, let's go. Let's see who we got here.
Call from
Omar Morales.
Omar.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Omar.
Hey, what's cracking?
Can you hear me, brother? What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I could hear you just fine, man. How you doing? First of all, I just want to say you were the first ever live caller for the channel. So shout out to you, man.
Oh, give me that cookie.
Well, what's going on, man? What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk Raiders, of course, man. I am following your advice, and I am buying the stock on Dante Thornton Jr. I think he's going to be as good as advertised, man. And if he is, our offense is going to be moving the ball, dude, because he's going to open up things like James Jett used to, back in the day for Tim Brown and the underneath guys. So yeah, dude, I'm really sick, dude. I just defense is the thing that always worries me.
Right.
We always have these rent-to-linebackers and rent-to-corners, and so that's always the concern for the last 20-plus years, right? Defense.
Right. Well, here's what I'll say. It's so funny that you called right when you did, because I was reading, before I got into any of the voicemails, a Bleacher Report article that predicts us going 10-7, and they said the only issue.
Yeah, I saw that.
The only issue was that we do not have proven explosive players on offense, which is true. We don't have proven explosive guys, but
right, potential.
and they are predicting 10 wins without those proven commodities. So imagine if, and it's funny, if Dante Thornton puts the pads on and he isn't good, okay, well, that's unfortunate. He's not good. But Trey Tucker, when playing with a quarterback who can throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field with Aiden O'Connell, has shown capabilities of being that deep threat. So I think even if Dante Thornton, I told everyone to buy the stock. If we all lose money on Dante Thornton, you can blame me. But I do think Trey Tucker could be, 70% of the potential that Dante Thornton can reach. And you're right about the linebackers. I mean, I'm happy that we signed Jermaine Pratt. He was a captain of that defense. Now that Bengals defense was bad, but that doesn't mean that every player was bad. Like, we've had bad defenses. That doesn't mean Max Crosby's a bad player.
Right.
So I totally understand where you're coming from. Well, look, I'm not gonna boo you off right away, because I know we've discussed maybe you talking about your comic a little bit. I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to do that right now, but I will say to the people who have been watching, if you've seen I think it was last Sunday was the last time we ran the ad.
Yeah.
We've been sponsored
right.
by a comic book, and this is the creator of that comic book, Omar Morales. So, Omar, I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about it, and then I'll put the link in the description one more time.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's Major Tomas. It's a outer space sci-fi adventure. Family friendly, there's no cussing in it. There's no sexual situations. Just, if you like Star Wars and that kind of thing, this comic is for you, man. And I appreciate, all the Raider Nation folks that have been watching the ads. I know a couple of people said they went and bought the book. So appreciate you, man. There's a ton, and Rodney can attest to this, a ton of Raiders Easter eggs. Like, if you're a hardcore Raiders fan like we are, this book is loaded with little Easter eggs for Raider Nation. And like I've been telling people, made by Raider fans for Raiders fans. And you know what? I made a comic reader out of Rodney. So I'd like to make the comic reader out of the rest of you guys out there in Raider Nation.
Dude, it's so true, because I'm a big comic book movie fan, but I've never actually picked up a comic. So when you initially reached out to me and sent it to me, I was like, ooh, this is intimidating. Like, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'll read it. And I think I finished it in like maybe a half hour. Like, I flew through it.
Yeah. So it's about 120 pages. Yeah. And it's only $6.99, guys. So it's not a big kind of put a big dent in your wallet.
Cheap. And here's what I will say for the people that are like, well, if it's kid friendly, whatever, am I going to enjoy it? I would say it's kid friendly in the way that like Toy Story is kid friendly, but that's still to this day, I'm a grown man. That's one of my favorite movies. Like, it's for kids and adults to enjoy, even though it has
Absolutely.
kid-friendly parameters in terms of what the story's about, I don't think you need to be a child to enjoy reading it.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the sweet spot for me is like 13 to 33. This is the age when people are trying to figure out who they are, and that's very
Exactly.
much reflected in the book. And yeah, I mean, I've got 40 and 50-year-old guys really enjoying this story. It's very straightforward, hero's journey, and there's a lot of things in there I don't want to spoil, obviously, but
Right.
if you like science fiction, adventure, coming of age, hero's journey, this story is right up your alley.
Totally. And yeah, like no spoilers, but what I will say is I hope to see maybe if you get the opportunity where the story goes, is all I'll say.
Yes. Yeah. We got a bit of and you called it perfectly, interstellar type of
Mm-hmm.
thematic twist at one point. And so, yes, it does leave opportunity for future stories. And I'm pursuing that. So you'll be one of the first to know if it happens, if we get a
Perfect.
sequel or two.
Awesome, dude. Well, look, Omar, first caller ever. I don't think it could have gone any better. Appreciate you calling
Likewise.
in. Everybody buy the comic. The link will be in the description below. And I'm sure I'll hear from you again.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. I'm not going to lie to you. I was really scared to do that. Okay? I was just to answer the phone at all. But Omar Morales, what an absolute dog. That couldn't have gone better. If you want to be one of those people that calls in, link is in the description below. Patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. It's as simple as that. $5. You can do it. You can cancel whatever you want. Link in the description below for the comic, dude. Major Tomas. It's awesome. It really is. Like, I've turned down sponsorships for this channel because I'm like, I don't know about this. This comic is awesome. Link will be in the description below. What was I even saying? I mean, I was talking about the Raiders win-loss thing. Oh, but I kind of gave my point with Omar that I was going to say is they're predicting us to go 10-7 without those proven deep threat commodities. Imagine if Dante Thornton or Trey Tucker can actually hit. It's going to open everything up. And then it just comes down to coaching, man, because I believe in all the players. I believe in Ashton and Gino and the lines. Like, I believe in the players that we have to be able to. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Believe. I believe we can win 9 or 10 games. I don't think I believe we can win the division. But only time will tell. Maybe Gino is that Rich Gannon 2.0. So, look, we're going to start the voicemails here, but if I get interrupted by another caller, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We got 3 voicemails here planned. We're going to play the first one right here, and we're going to let it rip. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, Roddy? You're a real one. Love your videos. Better than Mitch. Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you were planning on fantasy draft, what quarterback were you planning on drafting? For myself, I'm thinking about trying to get Justin Fields later because I hit with Jaden Daniels, won my fantasy $600 last season. But also wanted to hear your thoughts on Geno Smith. In 2022, he scored 18 fantasy points, 15.6 per game last year. But now he's all these weapons, better offensive line. I mean, he could be sneaky too. And then also, last question, what movie are you going to watch next?
Okay, a lot of questions there. Appreciate the question, the voicemail. Like I said, if you want to leave a voicemail, it is 725-253-0264. Let's do the movie first, real quick. I'm going to see F1 today. Joseph Kosinski, the director of Top Gun Maverick, is now doing essentially the same kind of movie with Brad Pitt in an F1 racing car. Cameras like right in it. They're actually racing. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this movie. I also recently just saw the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. I thought it was great. I get it. Some people are like, why? What's the need? I don't know. It's fun. It doesn't. And not everything has to be Citizen Kane. In terms of fantasy football, you brought up. It's so funny that you say that because I actually have my fantasy team right here that we can look at a little bit. Now, Gino is somebody that I have on my team. I made a move here, and I brought Geno Smith onto the squad. Now, I do think, do they have his projections on here? No. I do think the interesting thing about Geno is that he could score a decent amount this year. The only thing that would concern me, by the way, this is a dynasty keeper league. So this is the team I've had for 3 years, and you guys could, I guess, comment below what you think about my team. I was in the championship last year. The year before that, I had like the 3rd pick in the draft. So we really made some moves here to make this team look pretty decent. I've got Besh and Thornton because, again, we keep all the rookies. I've got Tommy Malott stashed down here as well. So hoping that one of these guys hit. And my name is They Wrote Me Off. I change it all the time. So, yeah, you guys could vote on what you think about my fantasy team. The thing about Geno is I'm just concerned that we're going to run the ball a lot. And that's the problem with Jordan Love. Like, when I had Jordan Love last year, or 2 years ago, he was awesome. This year, they handed the ball off more, and it kind of hurt me a little bit. But in terms of what you said about Justin Fields, I don't love drafting a quarterback who cannot throw the ball well. Like, he's going to have a lot of rushing yards, but here's what my strategy is at quarterback. If I have the first pick in the draft, I'm taking, like, Saquon Barkley, right? But if I have, like, the 9th pick in the first round, I might just take Josh Allen right off the rip. Or Lamar Jackson. Like, you cannot go wrong with one of those two guys. They double as quarterbacks and running backs. So if you can get one of those guys, if you have, like, the 6th pick in your first round and later, like 6 to 12, just take Lamar or Josh, and you'll be able to weasel your way with an RB3 that it might not be as good because Josh Allen's going to pick that stuff up for you. But yeah, man, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. My concern with Geno is that we're just going to hand the ball off a lot, you know? But shout out to you winning $600. Here's my little story. Last year I was in 2 fantasy leagues. I made the championship in both of them. Lost both. So there's that. Let's get to the next voicemail. Which one do we want to do here? This one.
All right, I'm just calling in to get the show's take. This is Raider Energy over here on the West Coast. Okay, so I'm a big Ashton Jeanty fan. I see the floor being Trent Richardson, who was a horrible failure, and then the sporadic, injuries that we've had throughout the years with guys like Napoleon McCallum and Nick Bell, who had potential to be great running backs, who Ashton Jeanty should be way better than them. But they had promising, and they went down with the injury, ruined their career, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I kind of see him as like a Charlie Gardner, Napoleon Kaufman type player with the elevated Hall of Fame potential. But realistically, let's put this in perspective. Within the system, what does he look like as far as first year elite running back status ranking with the guys we got out there right now? I mean, we got Saquon out there. We got Jahmyr Gibbs. We got that guy out there in Tampa, Bucky. There's a few guys out there who are excellent running backs, and how is our guy going to rate, you know? He has a great spell back. We have a great splash guy coming in to relieve him with Mostert, but what's he going to look like? How is he going to rate? At the end of the year, what's the season going to look like? I feel like it's going to be, he could have a 1,400-yard season. I said this before he announced his goals just because of the longevity of the year. But how does the show see things? I mean, I kind of see him using him like a Charlie Gardner or a Napoleon Kaufman, but in today's usage, in today's means, and possibly a little better than those guys in some aspects. But what's the show's take on it? All right. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. It would not be a Raider call-in show without Raider energy out on the West Coast. Okay, so let's do this. Saquon Barkley stats. And then I'm going to do Bijan Robinson stats. And then I'm going to do Ezekiel Elliott stats. Ezekiel Elliott stats. I need rookie year for Elliott. Rookie year, because I want to compare. These are probably the ones to compare it to. Okay. So, if we share the screen here and start with Saquon. So Saquon, his rookie year with the Giants, had 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. He had 91 receptions. Bijan, his rookie year, didn't even cross 1,000 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, but the year after that, he was very good. So if Ashton has a slow start, just remember, they can pick it up after that. Like it's not the end of the world for a slow start here. And then Ezekiel led the league in rushing. He had 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns. I think a successful season for Ashton Jeanty would be top 10 running back, probably Saquon Barkley numbers. Excuse me, with a little less catches. I would say like 1,200 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns, 91 receptions. Something like Josh Jacobs. Like, look at what Josh Jacobs did, his rookie stats. Josh Jacobs, his rookie year, in 13 games, 11,150 yards. Jesus, 7 touchdowns. I think that would be really good. Like 1,000 yards minimum, top 10 rushing, 8-ish touchdowns. Like, I'm not expecting the world out of him because, again, he does have to kind of adjust to how small he is. Like I'm talking about height. I'm not talking about how strong he is. And it's not going to be just like snap your fingers. I don't think it's going to work out like that because it typically doesn't. You typically don't get an Ezekiel Elliott. Even Saquon Barkley took a little bit, right? He didn't have 2,000 yards. And Bijan took a long time, a whole season's worth of people calling him a bust before this year he exploded. So I expect good things out of Ashton Jeanty. Fringe Pro Bowl numbers, I think, is kind of where I'm going there. But I like your shout out to Napoleon Kaufman. I do like that.
Hey, Rodney. This is Mike in Arizona, second-time caller. Absolutely love your show. Never miss it. Just calling because I was curious to see how you became a Raider fan. I grew up in the Bay Area in the 70s and was blessed enough to have my dad take me to, I think, 3 games at the old Oakland Coliseum to watch Stabler and all the greatness of the Raiders history. But I used to watch Monday night games and Sunday games with my dad and just grew up loving the Raiders and kind of wanted to hear your story. Keep up the great work. We need good, passionate Raider fans sharing with us on YouTube. So appreciate all you do and looking forward to hearing about your story. Thanks again.
Mike from Arizona, shout out, second-time caller. Thank you for all the kind words, man. Look, it's not entirely interesting. I guess it is a little interesting. So I just like the teams my parents liked, right? We're from Pennsylvania originally, so I like the Pittsburgh Pirates. I like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I went to Penn State, so I root for Penn State. Those are the 3 Pennsylvania teams. Basketball, I'm a Utah Jazz fan. Now, how'd that happen? My dad, growing up, was a Larry Bird fan, but he never rooted for the Celtics for whatever reason. And he didn't have a favorite basketball team. My mom lived in Utah for a couple of years, adopted the Jazz, and when they met and got married, then my dad adopted the Jazz because of her. That was the Stockton and Malone era. And I was, again, just liking the teams my parents liked, so Utah Jazz, there you go. Raiders, super random. There was a family friend that my dad always hung out with when my dad was younger, Dan Connors, who was a Super Bowl champion. I think I might have told this story already, but Mike asked me, so I'll tell it again. And, when you're a young kid and you got people that are in the NFL around you, you're like, oh, I'm rooting for this guy, I'm rooting for this team. So my dad and his first cousin became massive Raider fans. My second cousin, my dad's first cousin, Kevin, who's probably watching this, shout out to Kevin. Oh, I think he's one of our patrons, Kevin DeNevro. Since then has had 3 kids. They've all become Raider fans. I'm a Raider fan because my dad's a Raider fan. So it was because of this family friend that always came around, Dan Connors, that kind of pushed my family in that direction. And ever since, I've been suffering with everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, couldn't be happier to be a part of Raider Nation. I'm so happy that I'm not just a boring, I'm not even going to take shots at other people's fandoms because we know what the best fandom is, even though it's been tough these last few years. But look, I think that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for the people that left the voicemails. Like I said, I didn't get to all the voicemails that I have in my queue here. I'm going to get to them next week. But if you want to call in, like I said, or become one of these beautiful executive producer patrons like Omar Morales, who's in the bottom right, and Kevin Ginevra, there he is right there. Link in the description below. This is huge for the support of the channel if you can just give $5. And it's not just you donate $5. You get your name at the end of the credits. You get the ability to call in live. You get videos days in advance, ad-free content, exclusive content that's not posted up on YouTube, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. And also, if you could, hit that like button, comment away, and please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.